If you've been feeling off lately or reactive or emotional, it's not random. That's spirit trying to let you know that perhaps you've got some healing to do. But that's okay because we all have healing, right? It's time to do some healing with love instead of shame. So today we are going to see what is triggering you as a collective, what is triggering us, and then how we can heal it. Welcome to Don't Dim to Fit In. I'm Maggie, and I'm so glad you're here. We're going to get some overall energy, and then we're going to see what's triggering us lately. I know I felt some of that in the energy. I'm thinking, why is this bothering me? Why am I getting triggered? I mean, we're all in different parts of our healing journeys, but sometimes stuff will trigger us, and it's kind of like a nudge from the universe. It's a nudge from spirit saying, hey, although you're getting a little bit triggered, this is actually happening so you can figure out what you need to heal. It's kind of a good thing, even though it feels like, why do I feel so out of control? Oh, all right. We have pure divine essence. I am light. Look at that. I am light. You are light. We're all light. So you could be pretty far into your healing journey and be thinking, I thought I healed that back there. Why do I feel so triggered right now? Well, Spirit is saying that even if you are in your healing journey, it's okay. We are going to be healing for a very long time, probably most of our lives. And sometimes there are things that we've kind of tucked back into our subconscious. And I was going to say that we're self-conscious. You could be self-conscious about something, but we've tucked it way back in our subconscious, and we don't know that we haven't completely healed it yet, or something just can come up out of nowhere. And so if you've been feeling emotional lately, or if you've been reactive, instead of responding to something, you're reacting to something, just know that it's okay. Like, everybody does it, even when you're in the light, even when you're healing, even when you think you've healed everything, something will pop up. So just remember, you are the light, though. You are the light. You are doing a good job. Keep healing. We're going to find out what this trigger is, and we're going to get advice from Spirit on how to heal it. This is beautiful. I love this. She's sort of just basking in the light, and I feel like there's a need here, a call to just kind of be still. Yeah, if you are just running around so much and you have a lot to do and a lot on your plate, I really feel like Spirit wants some of you to meditate or maybe journal or whatever it is for you. Just spend some time with Spirit, spend some time alone, spend some time being still. Bask in the light. Yeah. Bask in that pure divine presence. However you connect with Spirit, do that. Take the time to do that. Whenever you do that. If it's in the morning, if it's at night, if it's in the morning and at night, anytime during the day, or if you're feeling like you're about to react to something, take a moment and bask in that light like she's doing right here. Yeah. That's beautiful. Okay. All right, let's get some energy here on what is triggering the collective. Holy Spirit, angels, ancestors, please show us what we need to see for our highest and greatest good. What are the triggers? The triggers or the wounds, however you want to say it. I don't know, when before I started my healing journey, I was like, everything's a trigger. Okay, Holy Spirit, what do we have? trigger? For my truth seekers and my wisdom warriors. Ooh, okay. All right, we have the Seven of Wands. You could be feeling that you have to protect yourself at all times, that you have to have serious boundaries. The Seven of Wands here. You could feel like people or energies are attacking your crown chakra. You might feel like you have to protect your crown chakra. You could be feeling like you're being spiritually attacked. Yeah, these cards are beautiful. These are the chakra wisdom cards, I believe. But she seems like she's standing very strong, and she has all of her wands around her. And so she's standing you're standing very strong. And many of you are standing very strong in your boundaries, but you're feeling like, why do I have to have such strong boundaries? I feel like that's the trigger here. It's like you're kind of like, people have messed with me so much. People have walked all over me so much. They have crossed my boundaries over and over and over again, to where I have to stand like this. I have to stand so very strong in my boundaries, to where it's like, okay, nobody's getting in. Nobody's getting in now. It's like, okay, I've built a fortress around me. I've built walls around me. You know, it's like, okay, guess what? Ain't nobody getting in here. So, yeah. And if you're not standing in your boundaries, setting boundaries and standing by them, there is a very spirit is encouraging you to set those boundaries. Okay, is there anything else for what is triggering the collective? Okay. Okay, we've got the Chariot and the Hierophant. Okay, so what could be triggering a lot of you is your relationship with God, your relationship with spirituality, with religion, however that resonates with you. You could be feeling like you don't have a lot of willpower, or that you should have more willpower, or perhaps that you are relying too much on your own willpower when you should be, or you're being encouraged to rely on a higher power. And that could be triggering some of you. You could have religious trauma. You could have grown up with, say you grew up, I'm just going to use this as an example, only like this is just a hypothetical example. Say you grew up Catholic, right? And you grew up with abusive parents, and nobody knew that they were abusive, but they went to church every Sunday, and they made you go to church, and you were like, okay, well, we go to church every Sunday. My parents are in the front row, they're in the front pews, and they're in the choir, and everybody loves them, but they're extremely narcissistic, and they're terrible to you at home. So you grew up with this idea that, like, okay, well, if there is a God, he certainly he doesn't care about me, because, you know, like I pray, I go to church, I feel like I'm doing all the right things, but I have these terrible parents who are horrible to me, but everybody loves them because they don't know that they're monsters at home. That's just an example. So you could have that type of religious trauma, and you're not really trusting a higher power. And you could be very triggered by that. You could have your 7 wands up, your boundaries up, and say, I am not ever going to church again. I don't trust religious people, or I don't trust this church or that church, or perhaps you want to go to a non-denominational church, or whatever that is for you. Or it could be the flip side. Maybe you are spiritual and you've gone to several spiritual places, and I don't know, maybe you had Reiki done or something like that, and somebody crossed a line with you, and you have trauma from that. So now you don't trust certain spiritual practitioners. So it could go either way, right? So just please take this as it resonates. And if it doesn't, then don't worry about it, okay? And again, these are just examples. But when I'm seeing the Seven of Wands, the Chariot, and the Hierophant as triggers, this is giving me religious or spiritual trauma, and that you are protecting yourself against this. Perhaps you are like, you're trying to seek out a higher power for something that works for you. Okay. And I know about this because I was in this situation. I had been seeking God for a very long time. I had a lot of religious trauma, and I didn't know that I could see things from a different perspective. And it wasn't until I got into recovery from an addiction to where I actually found my truth, basically. And everybody has their own truth and has their own perspective on a higher power. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So it feels like whoever this is resonating for, you just need to find your truth, or you're being encouraged to find your truth. Perhaps don't be so guarded that you're not able to find out who you truly are, right? And what the truth really is. I can tell you from my own experience, I found out who I really was, and I found a higher power that worked for me, and I was able to heal from my religious trauma. So this is definitely the trigger that some of you are feeling, that you have to guard yourself from some sort of institution or some sort of institution or some sort of religious or spiritual doctrine. Or I'm trying to think of something else here. This is also, it could be an old belief system. Maybe people in your family are like, hey, you have to believe this because we believe this. And you're like, well, but I don't believe that. That doesn't make sense to me. That's not my truth. And that's okay. And it like really triggers you because, maybe if you go out to dinner with your family and they're like, well, hey, you have to believe this. And you're like, no, I don't believe that. I want to stand in my truth. And then you just want to like get out of there. You want to get on this chariot and get the heck out of there because you're like, I can't stand it. I want to just react because I can't stand these people, So that's what this is giving me. So again, please take that as it read. Let's get what the deeper wound is here, just to really understand like what type of shadow work Spirit is encouraging me to do. Because when we feel this way, it's like, okay, I feel this way. Well, how do I heal it? That's how I felt. I was like, why do I feel so imbalanced? Why do I always react? Now I can respond, which is fantastic. Don't have any shame in feeling this way, okay? I've been through a lot of trauma in my life, so I completely understand how you're feeling, and your feelings are valid. Your feelings are valid. It's okay. It's okay to feel this way. Feeling betrayed, feeling like everything you've learned, it's like, wow, I don't resonate with that anymore. So now you're just kind of figuring out who you are, what you resonate with, what the truth is for you, and what makes sense for you. Really. You don't want to be so guarded to where you close off your heart space and you don't find out your truth, and you don't find out what higher power works for you, whether that is nature or the universe or God or spirit, like whatever you want to call it, or if it's just love, if it's just, I mean, I believe love is the highest vibration. I think it's beautiful. Okay, Spirit, what is the deeper wound here? What do we need to know for our highest and greatest good? Please and thank you. Okay, we've got procrastination. Putting things off becomes a bad habit to use so use time management strategies. Okay, procrastination. Oh boy, do I know what this is like. Procrastination used to be my very best friend. Yes, so constantly putting things off. Yeah, this appears to be something that some of you need to work on, or some of you are being encouraged to work on. So it seems a lot of you are very guarded. You kind of just want to run away from it, is what I'm getting with the Chariot. You want to run away from your trauma, from your problems. And I'm here to tell you from my experience, I mean, I ran away from my problems for about 30 years, and it all just catches up with you. It caught up with me until I had to just sit down and do the shadow work. I had to sit down and realize, hey, I got to find my truth. I got to figure this stuff out, because if I don't, I'm never going to grow. I'm not going to grow, heal, and evolve. So I got to work on this procrastination, okay? I know it's not always easy to hear, but this is for your highest and greatest good. This is so you can heal. We got to stop putting this stuff off. Okay, what else, Spirit? Remember, you are the light. You've got pure divine essence all around you. You're not alone. You're always being guided by a higher power. You are. We've got insecurity. Some of you probably have insecurities. We all have insecurities. Fears of not being good enough. So you're being encouraged to build confidence and love your uniqueness. So whatever makes you unique, love that about yourself. We've got to love who we are. What makes us different is really beautiful. We've got to work on our insecurities. I used to be very insecure. I was insecure about my body. I was insecure about like if anyone would ever love me. And what I personally had to learn was that I've got to learn to love myself. That was my big lesson. My big lessons were boundaries and I had to learn how to love myself and realize that there is a higher power that is guiding me always. It's amazing. You are good enough. You are. Love all the things about yourself. Everybody has imperfections. Everybody has imperfections. And it's okay. Okay, we have intolerance. Differences are seen as threats rather than growth opportunities. Be inclusive. Yeah, intolerance. This is another thing that Spirit is encouraging you to work on. Don't view differences as a threat. We're all different. How boring would it be if everybody was the same? How boring would that be? It would be pretty boring. This is also a lotus flower. I love the story of the lotus flower because this is a flower that is literally born in mud. And then it goes through all of this stuff, this crap, like literally the mud. It goes through all this stuff and then it grows to be this beautiful, amazing flower. It's incredible. So many of you have been through so much, so many hardships, so many hardships. And that's what makes you so beautiful. It is, because you've been through so many tough times. But guess what? You got through it. You've been knocked down so many times, but guess what? You got back up. You're this flower. You're this flower that got it out of the mud. This is amazing. Yeah. So if you recognize something, you're like, oh, well, this is what I learned. I used to be very jealous. I used to be very jealous. And I recognized that when I was jealous of somebody else, that's something within myself that I needed to heal. It's something that I didn't love within myself. So when I started working on that, and I really started doing my shadow work, and I really started working on that, I started to love myself more. And that void inside, that hole inside started to fill more. And I started to love myself. That all that jealousy stuff went away. So when I get triggered, the first thing I think is like, oh, okay. I'm like, all right, what do I need to work on? I'm like, what do I need to work on myself? I'm like, well, what's going on, Maggie? What do you need to do? All right, let's get one more of these. Okay, Holy Spirit, what else do we need to work on? Yeah, and don't put off with this procrastination energy. Try not to put off working on yourself, because that is the best investment you will ever make, working on yourself. All right, we've got overthinking. Analyzing every possible outcome and becoming paralyzed by indecision. Analysis paralysis. Woo, I used to do this too. You're in your head so much. And you're thinking of every scenario, and then you're making up everything. You ever have that conversation, or you ever like get a text from somebody and you're thinking like, what does that mean? And it's really could just be very simple. Like if someone texts you just the letter K, and you're like, huh? What, you couldn't spell out an entire sentence? Am I not worth an entire sentence? I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, it takes 3 seconds to like, you could speak into it, and you're just overthinking and overthinking and overthinking. And this person literally just means, okay, that's it. We've got to stop this overthinking. Yeah. This is going to give you analysis paralysis, and it's also going to create this procrastination, because you're going to get stuck in this overthinking energy. You're going to freeze, and you're going to be like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I can't move. And then that's what's going to keep you stuck, which is also going to lead to insecurity, because you're going to overthink what the other person meant, and you're going to be like, what did they mean? And then you're going to make up all of these things in your head about what they meant, and you have no idea. They could have just meant, okay, that's cool, that sounds good, sure, no problem. So, and I mean, I'm chuckling because I used to do this all the time. I used to do it all the time, and I'm just very grateful that I was able to heal that part. So when you take the time, you really take the time to heal this about yourself, you're gonna be at a point where you're through it, and you're gonna look back, and you're gonna be like, wow, I used to really do that. I used to really overthink so much to where I just froze in indecision, and I couldn't move. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. At the bottom, we've got adaptability. Think outside the box and find creative solutions to life's challenges. You could be stuck in an old mindset, something that you grew up with, or perhaps other people have been telling you how to think. It's time to think for yourself. I like to think like there is no box at all. A growth mindset is always a beautiful thing. This is a tiger. Yeah. It's time to be brave. It's time to think for yourself. If you're one of those people that has to always get every 10 opinions before you make a decision, it's time to start listening to your gut, to your intuition, to that inner knowing, or to this higher power. When you can heal this religious trauma or this spiritual trauma or whatever this is, if you resonate with this, once you heal that and you find your truth and you find the higher power that works for you, you could start trusting that. That's something that comes from within. And you'll find out, you will find that out as you heal. Okay. All right, let's see what your higher self wants you to know. All right. What does your higher self want you to know? This insecurity card has a house on it and all the lights are on. So I feel like a lot of you are at the point where you do want to go within to heal. It could be helpful to write down all of your insecurities and then say something nice about yourself, or maybe look in the mirror and say something nice about yourself. Write down the insecurity, say the insecurity out loud, look in the mirror, and then tell yourself that you love yourself, or look at your body and say what you love about your body. Start being nice to yourself. Instead of criticizing yourself all the time, be nice to yourself. It makes a difference. It does. Okay. Okay, your higher self wants you to know that there's happiness. New discoveries that lead to celebrations. Love yourself first. That's what I was just talking about. Start loving yourself. Even the imperfections, all the good stuff, all the imperfections. Happiness. Be happy with yourself because you're awesome. You are. What makes you different is beautiful. It is. And that's going to bring expansion. Pursue bigger and greater endeavors. Expansion. Yeah. Look at that. As you heal, as you can get happier with yourself, as you can grow and heal, you're going to expand. You just are. It's true, and your higher self wants you to know that. Okay. All right, let's get a closing message. Let's get a closing message, Spirit. Holy Spirit, what is the closing message for the collective? I love this because the happiness card, she's holding a piece of paper and it says A+ on it. Give yourself an A+. You deserve it. You deserve it. You've been working so hard. Well, we get past this procrastination energy, right? I know some of you have been working really hard. even with the overthinking, even with the procrastination. Just remember, you are light, you are divinely guided, divine essence is all around you. It is. It is. Okay, what is the closing message, Spirit? What is the closing message? Okay, this says soul family, calling your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. Yeah. There's dolphins on this card. You might want to look up what dolphins mean spiritually. You could be a water sign. Look at this. There's two people on here. This is also giving me mirror energy. Looking within, looking at what is triggering you. That is also mirror energy. When someone triggers you, they're kind of mirroring back to you what you should work on in yourself. That has been my experience. So, yeah. And you're going to find your soul family. People that call to your soul. People that know you at a soul level. This is beautiful. You are never alone. You are protected and you are loved. You are. Okay, that was your message. I hope that it was helpful. Remember, don't dim to fit in, shine bright, and live true. If you resonated with this message, please hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.